Silo Season 2's Episode 6 not only features an all-out battle for control between Bernard and the mechanical citizens but also ends with a cliffhanger in which Juliet faces a dire choice. Beginning where its predecessor left off, Silo Season 2's Episode 6 shows how Bernard channels his fury toward the people of the mechanical to ensure their rebellion is extinguished. However, despite facing many unforeseeable challenges, the mechanical folks also do not step back and overcome every obstacle the mayor throws toward them. In the meantime, Tim Robbins' Silo character sets out on his own side quest by asking Lucas to decode Salvador Quinn's cryptic message. Seeing it as an opportunity to save himself from his long sentence in the mines, Lucas dedicates himself to the job. Although the two characters seemingly make little progress, their relationship takes a sudden turn in the Apple TV+ sci-fi show's Episode 6. Juliet, too, finds herself in the middle of another set of troubles after Solo presents her with an offer she cannot reject. Solo's offer to Juliet in Silo Season 2 Episode 6 ending explained. Solo saves Juliet's life but refuses to let her leave. Silo Season 2's Episode 6 is one of the few installments in the Apple TV+ series that barely features Juliet. After walking through the shifting political tides in Silo 18, Episode 6 finally shows what Juliet has been up to in its final moments. In Silo Season 2's Episode 5's ending, Juliet fell to the ground after a wound on her arm got severely infected. Fortunately, for her, Solo treats her infection using the antibiotics he has at his disposal in Silo 17. Realizing how she is running out of time to save her Silo, Juliet awakens and panics, hoping to leave as soon as possible. However, to her dismay, Solo reveals he has hidden her newfound suit. When she tells him that Silo 18's people need her, he offers a deal: she must help him drain the water from Silo 17's lower levels, and, in return, he will give her the suit. Juliet initially resists, but Solo reminds her that, without wasting time, she must pay him back for saving her life. With no options left, Juliet will likely help Solo drain the water before setting out to rescue Silo 18. Why Bernard makes Lucas his shadow in Silo Season 2 Episode 6. Bernard realizes only Lucas can help him find the truth. Before Mayor Bernard killed Meadows, the former judge told him how Lucas had brilliantly deduced a theory about the stars without knowing anything about astronomy. This helped Bernard realize that, as much as he hated Lucas for breaking his trust, Lucas had the brains to help him solve some nagging mysteries. Therefore, in Silo Season 2's Episode 5, he asked Lucas to fix the broken Red Relic hard drive he had acquired from Juliet in Season 1. To his surprise, Lucas even found Salvador Quinn's cryptic letter that Meadows had mentioned moments before her death. In Silo Season 2's Episode 6, Lucas struggles to decode the message in Quinn's letter but seemingly makes significant progress using a simple Kaiser shift cipher. Impressed by Lucas' abilities and aware of the ticking clock over his head, Bernard realizes that Lucas must access the legacy to be able to use advanced programming methods to decode the message. However, since regular Silo citizens cannot access the legacy, Bernard is forced to make him his shadow to allow him to gain the necessary clearance. Why Billings syndrome symptoms disappeared. Billings finally seems to have semblance of control over his life. Chinaza Uche as Paul Billings looking stern in Silo. Although Apple TV+'s Silo has not explicitly revealed what the syndrome is, Billings has had symptoms of the condition since Season 1. He experiences sudden tremors in his limbs and seems to have little to no control over his body when the symptoms appear. In one of Silo Season 2's early episodes, Meadows theorized that the syndrome has something to do with the conditions they are forced to live in. She believed that humans were not conditioned to live inside silos under the strict, unexplained roles imposed on them by the higher authorities. According to her theory, the syndrome was more of a reflection of a person's inability to have any sense of control or autonomy over their life. Billings likely felt the same, which gradually made his symptoms worse. He had to rely on herbs to keep his illness in check. However, in Silo Season 2, he sets out to seek justice instead of loyally following Bernard's orders. His actions in Episode 6 are driven by a strong sense of justice and morality and are not manipulated by blind faith in authority. As he gradually regains control over his life and actions, his symptoms also disappear. Mechanical's plan to fight back and prevent food shortage explained. The Mechanical shows Bernard he cannot control them. As the war between Bernard and the Mechanical intensifies, Bernard resorts to desperate measures to gain a strategic edge. One of his moles from the deep down poisons the Mechanical's food supply, which puts the people in a vulnerable position. However, the citizens from Mechanical receive help from others on higher floors who send leftover food down the trash chute to help them sustain themselves during their battle against Bernard. Bernard sees this coming and asks the head of security to have guards block all trash chutes. Realizing that they, too, will have to take some risks, Shirley, Knox, and Teddy devise a plan to forcefully move the guards' barricades up a few levels. While one group from the mechanical attempts to drill up, the other distracts Bernard's team of raiders. Before the raiders can even realize what they are up to, the mechanical folks succeed at gaining access to everything below level 120. This helps them acquire a full-fledged farm at level 122, ensuring that food shortages will not be a concern anymore. How Lucas uses the Kaiser shift to decode Salvador Quinn's letter. The Kaiser shift is the simplest encryption method used in cryptology. Tim Robbins as Bernard Holland in Silo looking at AVI Nash as Lucas Kyle. Known to be used by Julius Kaiser to send cryptic messages to his allies, the Kaiser shift involves shifting the letters of a plain text message by a certain number of positions. For instance, if the shift in a plain text message is 3, A should become D, D should be G, and so on. Although Lucas seems unaware of the terminology, he cleverly uses the Kaiser shift in Silo Season 2's Episode 6 to decode Salvador Quinn's message. To his dismay, the method barely solves anything. However, it impresses Bernard enough to make him his shadow and grant him access to the legacy. Who poisoned Mechanical's food in Silo Season 2's Episode 6? The mole was connected to one of Bernard's men. Tim Robbins as Bernard sitting in his room in Silo. Silo Season 2's Episode 6 does not explicitly reveal the identity of the mole who poisons the Mechanical's food. However, it seems to drop one subtle clue. During a scene in Silo 18's vault, one of Bernard's men interacts with his aunt, Doreen, who gives him all the updates about what the people in the Down Deep are planning. It seems likely that Aunt Doreen was the mole who poisoned the food. If it isn't her, Silo Season 2's future episodes will explore this mystery and reveal the truth about the Black Sheep's identity.